If you're writing a story, you should identify which of these 8 story problems you're working with. Stories thrive when they center around universal relatable situations as they tap into basic human emotions and challenges. It's all about shared human experiences. This is important because, as much as we might enjoy understanding stories, stories are felt first and foremost. That's how us humans work. We feel, then we reason. Thus, writing that's done well subtly manipulates the emotional experience of the target audience to give them the experience they seek. So, with this in mind, it helps to know the 8 universal story problems on which all stories are shaped. They are threatened existence, life unraveling, epic transformation, daring rescue, ultimate quest, defeat evil, desperate escape, and romantic entanglements. Threatened existence are stories where someone or something is trying to kill a character or a group. Think of the original Terminator film, for instance. Surviving in the wilderness can factor in here too, which, if you want to write a story about using environmental antagonism, I have a video for how you can do that well. When writing these, there's 3 things I recommend keeping an eye on. First, raise the stakes. Ensure that the threat feels real, imminent, and escalating. As the story progresses, the danger should intensify. Second, create a personal connection. If a character or characters have a personal reason to survive beyond just instinct, you can get more investment into the characters. Third, show vulnerability. Balance the character's strengths with moments of vulnerability to make the audience genuinely fear for them. For life unraveling, think of stories where someone or something is trying to destroy the life of the character as they know it. This isn't about them threatening someone's actual life so much as their way of life. BoJack Horseman is a great example of this, as the show is about a washed-up 90s sitcom star facing continual threats to his public image, personal relationships, and mental health. If you can think of any examples like this, I'd love to hear them. As for the 3 tips I can toss out for this type, you should 1. Detail the before. Establish the character's normal life well so the unraveling has a clear contrast. 2. I recommend diversifying the challenges. The unraveling should come from different angles, personal relationships, work, mental state, etc. Finally, you want to ensure your characters have emotional depth when handling this. Explore the psychological and emotional effects of the unraveling, not just the external consequences. Now, when it comes to epic transformation stories, the character has a difficult, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that they're meant to seize because it can forever change their sense of self. My immediate thoughts are the manga/anime Bakuman, which is all about 2 mangakas pursuing their dream while facing various challenges in the industry. Another example I'd like to point to, even though I only know it through cultural osmosis, is the anime Yuri on Ice. Their protagonist Yuri is a professional ice skater with a dwindling career who teams up with his idol to win the Grand Prix and tries to revitalize things before it's too late. The romantic side isn't my preference, but it deserves props for its unique scenario. For this, here's my 3 immediate pieces of advice. First, like with life unraveling, you want to establish the character's original state clearly, so the transformation is evident. Second, this is a plotline where you want to double down big time on internal conflicts. You're going to focus a lot on internal issues, particularly with resistance to change and doubts. 3. Make sure to include moments of epiphany that push characters towards change. I'm positive you can understand the daring rescue without me saying much. You have one character who needs rescuing and another trying to do it. Simple. The immediate example that comes to mind for me is Taken since, well, do I even need to spell it out? There are other possibilities in this though, like medical dramas, such as Blackjack. Think about it. It's still about rescuing someone. With this situation, first, you should create a sense of time running out. Every moment should feel crucial. Second, the rescue shouldn't be straightforward. Introduce unexpected challenges to create obstacles. Third, I recommend establishing a deep connection between the rescuer and the one being rescued to raise the stakes. The ultimate quest is often what people think of with things like the hero's journey. The characters are trying to reach a distant and life-changing prize, which seems nearly impossible to do. One Piece is where my mind immediately goes since it's all about searching for the legendary treasure, but another example I wish to point to is Hunter x Hunter. After all, Gon's overarching situation is him hunting for his father, who is a hunter. It actually blew my mind when I realized that's why it's called Hunter x Hunter. To make this work, the prize should be well defined, whether it's a physical object, knowledge, or personal achievement. The journey itself should feature a diverse variety of challenges, from physical barriers to moral dilemmas, and the quest should change the character in some fundamental way. It's all about the lessons one needs to learn and how the journey changes who one is. I'm positive you run into many defeat evil scenarios. The characters have to defeat powerful bad guys who have hurt and or are threatening innocents. There are so many examples in fiction that I can think of, but my immediate thoughts go to my biggest influence as a creator, Leverage. Every episode is about a group of criminals working together to take on some sort of corporate or government evil for the sake of the victims. With this, first, the evil should feel nearly unbeatable, making the hero's task daunting. Second, the story becomes richer if the character has to make moral choices about how to defeat the evil. Finally, I recommend highlighting the personal or broader cost of confronting this evil, as nothing exists in a vacuum. The desperate escape, meanwhile, is when nobody is coming to rescue the victim, so the victim must free themselves. Promised Neverland is a great example I can point to of this. At least, it's a good example during the orphanage part. With this situation, I recommend making the atmosphere claustrophobic. Whether it's a physical space or a situation, make the audience feel the character's entrapment. Second, include some near misses, where the character almost escapes but doesn't. This heightens tension. Third, emphasize what the character is willing to give up or risk to gain freedom. Finally, with romantic entanglement, a character has to win over and or hang on to a life partner who they view as having a chance at their best life with. Love is War is one of my favorite examples to point to for this type, though we can find many examples within the romance genre. If you are handling romance, first, you need chemistry. The connection between the core characters is going to be the driving thing for the story, so people need to feel something for the pair itself. Second, you should include some challenge of some sort. These can be external, or they can be internal. It depends on the distance among other things, but I'll discuss that another time. Finally, show growth and change in the relationship, with ups and downs. You might notice I didn't include things like tragedy or comedy in this, which are included in things like the 7 basic plots. The reason is simple. These problems are immediate and tangible external conflicts faced by the protagonists. Stuff like tragedy and comedy are more about the themes and tone of the story. They describe the overall mood or emotional outcome rather than a direct problem that needs solving. These 8 problems are guidelines, and all 8 can be told in either tone. Also, you can mix in elements of each one, or if you write in multiple installments or so on, you can adjust it accordingly. These are just building blocks. There is a world of possibility for everything the deeper you dig. And I'm going to keep digging with this channel. If you want to support what I'm doing here, I'd appreciate it if you could do things such as like the video, and if you aren't yet subscribed, subscribe. If you need more convincing, I recommend checking out whatever video is being recommended to see what else I can offer.